Okay, so the first thing that you're going to do on this one is you're going to identify the parts. So this whole thing is called the radical. So you will drag that up there so that you know that that is what the whole thing is called, a radical. That means that this symbol that looks like a long division symbol is a radical symbol. So you will drag that, if it lets me. Okay, so let me get it to let me. There we go. Nope. It needs to look like that little crosshairs. That is a radical symbol, just the symbol right there. The radicand is what is under, so I have to make that look like those. So the radicand is this number right here. The whole thing is the radical. This is the radical symbol, and this is the radicand. The index tells you what exponent would be there. Generally, on a square root, they just leave it blank. There's nothing there. So you'll see that on the next things. So that leads us to have a question as to what is a square root. So there's a couple of ways to explain this. And the first thing that I'm going to do is talk about 4 times 4. So if I were doing 4 times 4, I know that my answer is 16. Well, 16 is a perfect square because it comes from 4 times 4. 9 times 9 is 81. 2 times 2 is 4. So we're going to do what it says down here to make them make sense and why it's called a square. Okay, so on the graph paper on the next slide, which is below, you're going to draw a square. So it has to be a square, not a rectangle, with an area of 4 units. So when I come over here, I'm going to get my shapes tool that is a square. I am going to dump it once I make it. So I need to make a square that is 4. So notice that is full. You can change the color if you wish. I'll make that 4 by 4, or the 4, a square. Is that what it asked for? An area of 4 units. So this first one has an area of 4 units. How did I get that? I got that by 2 units times 2 units. So 2 times 2 is the 4. Let's go to the next one. It says an area of 9 units. So it's a square with an area of 9 units. So if I want one with an area of 9 units, I got to go back up to my tools. I got to get my square. So that means a 3 unit by 3 unit. So that will cover 9 squares. 9 units. I'm going to change the color. Okay. So this is 4 units from 2 times 2. This is 9 units from 3 times 3 because it's the area. It then wants you to do an area of 16 units. So 16, we learned from here, is 4 times 4. So I'm going to draw another square. 4 units times 4 units. It makes a square. Change the color. So 4 times 4, that means my area of this square is 16, and it comes from 4 units times 4 units. Wants me to find one with an area of 25 units. So we'll come back down here. 25 comes from 5 times 5 to make a perfect square. Insert shape. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 times 5 gives me an area of 25. That's why they keep calling these square units. Come back up here. Color in the next squares, 3 squares in the sentence. So we'll come back to that, but what I want you to see is 4 times 4 comes with 16. 16 can also be written as 4 squared. And if you do not remember how to make this, it's superscript, which was, I believe, control something, but format, text, superscript is control and a period. So this is the same as 4 squared. Well, 81 then will mean 9 squared, right? 9 squared.